A lot of people always ask me in my streams or just in YouTube comments, what are the best PvE comps I could be running in order to farm as fast as, I don't know, Usain Bolt in the Olympics. And I've come up with a bunch of them that you could use. I'm only going to show the first 3 for all of them because I think generally speaking, like you could just fill it in either with mercenaries you want to level or mercenaries you want to get tasks for, whatever it may happen to be. But I thought I would showcase a couple of them and tell you how to play them and just basically which ones farm very effectively. So if this is helpful for you and you want to see more Hearthstone Mercenaries content, make sure you subscribe. I want to be the guy that gives you all the content you need. And of course, you look fantastic. Let's do this. First PvE comp we're going to be looking at here is the Holy Anduin Holy Nova nonsense with Velen and then Cariel. Now, the main idea of this comp is to basically use Anduin's Holy Nova with Velen's Blessing in order to double Holy Nova and gate you healing so you can stay sustained and do it again and again and again. And then Cariel is here because Cariel is one of the few mercenaries in the game that have a turn 1 taunt. So you just taunt up your Cariel so that your Anduin and Velen are fine. And then the following turn, you heal her back up using the Holy Nova and Velen's Blessing combination. For terms of equipment, I really like Ring of Purity on Anduin, but you can honestly make the case for Harmonic Mallet because doing more damage per Holy Nova adds up quite a bit. And in this case, it would do 10 more because of the double Holy Nova proc. But the thing about Ring of Purity is because you have so much healing in your composition, it just works so well. First, like turn, obviously, because you can't use Holy Nova, you want to do Penance and then follow it up with Holy Nova. Then with Velen, I like the Tome of Inspiration because just getting more healing means that you could just not die and wipe. You use Holy Blast, turn 1, followed by the Velen's Blessing. I will say this because this happened to me a bunch of times. If your Velen's Blessing is not the same cooldown, or the same cooldown or a higher cooldown, it will alter how effective this comp really is. So you want to try to get Velen's Blessing to 4 so you can get this to 5 and then go Holy Nova with it. If it's not at speed 5 or lower, this comp is not going to work. So make sure you have that. And then with Cariel, I just use the Tome of Judgment just because you just heal her and then she just does so much damage because she's going to have taunt for so long. You could also make the case of Tome of Light. Both are completely fine. Maybe Tome of Light's better. I'm not entirely sure, but that's the first one. Let's go to the next comp. Next on the list is Ragnaros, Geddon, and Antonidas. Now, this is the comp that I am currently using because it's just an absolute monster in clearing every single thing I'm going against. Now, the reason why this is so good is compared to the last comp, your AoE is the first turn. So basically your strategy here is to go Antonidas Fireball, which will then proc the fire combo with your Baron Geddon for Inferno. And then Rag will do Die Insects. If you're farming like 2-5 or 2-6, this will full clear basically everything because this does an absurd amount of damage. And then Rag just basically keeps going to finish off everything else on the map. Now, the benefit of this composition is that this all happens on turn 1. So it is extremely fast and there's no delay because there's no cooldowns on any of your abilities. Plus, any fire damage given to you during the run makes this just absolutely insane because it's going to wipe everything. Like there's nothing else to say here. The main idea of this, again, is just to go for fire. So I like Blazing Runes on this comp. I was using Sulfurous for PvP, but Blazing Rune is what you want to do. Gives you +3 fire damage, which makes this Inferno do more damage. And with this, I'm also using the Mark of Configuration to make sure my Inferno does as much damage as possible. And then with Baron Geddon, I just have the Cinecore staff, but I have not even upgraded Antonidas, and he was fantastic. I actually, when I first started using this comp, Antonidas was level 13 and they did this job. So nothing else to say here. Super, super great. This is the comp I would recommend more than the Antonidas Holy Nova one, but I thought I would show it just because, you know, it's a different comp. You may not have Rag or Geddon or Antonidas. Let's go to another one. So on the list, we have the Shadow composition. Now, this one is obviously centered around Vol'jin, and I would highly recommend you get the Ring of Haste, not only for PvE, but for PvP sake, because that's what makes Vol'jin so strong. But because of the Shadow composition, you could do a lot of damage pretty fast. Kind of like the Holy Nova one, unfortunately, it is a turn after, so you can't just expect to kill everything turn 1. But the main idea here is to use Curse of Weakness or Shadow Surge the turn 2, and then you use Natalie to either do I don't know, Anathema, whatever this is. If you end up getting the Splinter of Nord, Racel, dude, what are these words? This will not have a cooldown, which makes it that much better, but you could just Shadow Beam instead. And then if you want to use the equipment, I would probably recommend using the Eye of Shadow. It just makes her damage do more. I don't think you really need the healing. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then for Temzin, we just use Last Rites, even though it doesn't really matter. If you really need the takss 7 for Shadow Bolt, that's fine. But generally speaking, her main use case here is to use Veil of Shadows. And then if you need a taunt, you do have the Void Consumer. This one's nice. It does a lot of damage. And because everything stacks with shadow damage, it can do a lot. But again, it has the same drawback as the Holy Nova Anduin combo of just being a turn later than Baron Geddon and Rag and Antonidas. Now, this one's not bad. You could definitely use it. It'll do great for you. But yeah, just a slower. But I thought I would showcase it because, again, you don't really need any legendaries here. So it might be just easier in general. But let's go do another comp. This is the free-to-play PvE clear machine. This one's not necessarily fast, but it could probably get you through, I think, all of the game pretty easily. Obviously, the main idea here is Samaro. You want to make sure you have the Burning Blade because getting that extra damage is insanely strong, but also that extra stats is very nice. With Xyrella, we use Blinding Luminance, and hopefully you have Radiant Wand, which is just her bread and butter. You Blinding Luminance something, you let Samaro do the double strike, get Samaro big, and keep attacking things into this single clear. And then Cariel basically does the same purpose as she did in the Holy Comp, which is just be a huge taunt and or buff your Samaro and or buff herself for more healing. The benefit of this is that this is legitimately the most free-to-play PvE or clearing machine you can have because everyone in here is a rare. So if you're low on dust or coins or whatever and you're just starting out, this one is fantastic. No AoE, unfortunately, but it will get you through majority of the PvE with almost no problem just because of how strong Samaro is. And Cariel, again, Tome of Judgment, Tome of Light, whatever you want to do, they're both definitely fine. But this is the free-to-play PvE comp. Let's do another one. The build I'm going to showcase here is the Beast combination with King Crush, King Mukla, and Anacondra. Anacondra is not necessarily necessary. That's a weird sentence. But she is really good in the combination. But the main idea here is the synergistic aspects of King Crush and King Mukla. Now, King Mukla has an ability called Primal Power, which gives a friendly beast 5 attack or even more and immune while attacking this turn. So generally what you want to do is go Primal Power into Apex Predator. King Crush will kill everything. And if you're lucky enough to have the Flaming Claws, King Crush does a lot of damage when he attacks, which means he's probably clearing the whole mercenary PvE level in one shot. But again, it has the one drawback of being one turn later. So it's not the fastest, but it's definitely very, very consistent. And then you have Anacondra for either to deal with a caster by chance or someone else, to heal your beast, which is very nice, or to summon a Nightmare Viper for more people to attack. Generally though, it's just King Mukla and King Crush. And King Mukla is cool to level up because he's got the banana, so that's always awesome. But yeah, that's going to be the end of these comps. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe. I would appreciate it. And as always, you look fantastic.